So the judge in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial just rejected Amber Heard's request for a dismissal of the case, which is, by the way, a major victory for Johnny Depp in this entire situation. It appears that he's finally going to be getting his say in court, and Amber Heard is going to have to face the unfortunate reality of what the evidence shows she did. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard situation that's been unfolding. Obviously, everybody's heard about this at this point. It's been constantly trending on social media. There has been widespread coverage of the case by the mainstream media. We've even made videos talking about this subject for years here on the channel, and unfortunately here on YouTube, they have been mass demonetizing content talking about this situation, which makes it hard for content creators to talk about this kind of thing because obviously it affects not only livelihoods but also the spread of the video. And this video is guaranteed getting demonetized, so two things. Number one, please make sure to share this video with a friend or a family member to help combat YouTube's issue with this. And number two, thank you to my channel members who financially support the channel. You guys doing so allows me to make content like this. You can consider joining down below with the join button. But finally, back to what's important here, a massive win for Johnny Depp in this entire situation, as the judge has decided that the case will be going forward against Amber Heard. I'm going to show you guys some of the courtroom footage here in a minute that shows everything that went down. We're going to break it down into little segments and kind of talk about it and discuss what's going on. I know this court stuff can get really confusing for you guys. It gets really confusing for me too, so I have to read up on what's going on to make sure that I'm getting this as accurate as I can. But if you didn't know, Johnny Depp is actually suing his ex-wife Amber Heard for $50 million in a massive defamation case due to him losing roles and spots in movies and a lot of his fame and notoriety due to the claims made by Amber Heard that he was an abuser and that he did all this horrible stuff. He was a terrible drug addict that abused her and did all kinds of crazy things. In this situation, Johnny Depp has gotten the short end of the stick pretty much the entire time because most of, if not all of the evidence shown so far shows that he was actually the victim of domestic abuse in this relationship and his life was unjustifiably ruined, which is what the entire basis of this court case is. Truthfully, this is a very important case for domestic violence survivors and victims because it also shows that men can be the victims of domestic violence as well, which is something that honestly society doesn't talk about enough. Anyway, let's go ahead and roll some of the courtroom footage and we'll talk about this entire thing. I'll break down some of what Amber Heard's lawyer was saying here. And of course, we'll cover the end part where the judge dismisses this and talk about why it's so important. Roll the footage.
I can tell you she's not the abuser, and if the case moves forward, she and her witnesses will put on even more evidence of the physical abuse she suffered at the hands of Mr. Depp. But that's not the basis for our motion right now, Your Honor. He talks about how Mr. Depp had a sworn denial, and that should count. We read his testimony. He claims he didn't strike her. But again, that's not the basis for our motion. The basis for our motion is the clear and undisputed evidence of non-physical abuse.
So you're going to hear this guy a lot say things like, but that's not the basis of what we're talking about today, or I don't want to waste the court's time with this, right? So he does this as like a deflection of the case, right? Because obviously the evidence that's been shown is pretty damning, right? There's literally audio of Amber Heard telling him and mocking him, hey, basically no one's going to believe you if you say you're a domestic violence survivor, right? There's proof that she threw that bottle at him that severed his finger, right? Like there's just so much evidence that we can really go through here. That's obviously horrible for Amber Heard, and that's why they're moving to dismiss this. They don't want this shit to continue, but it has to continue because this is an important case. I know that this seems like it's just a Hollywood case or whatever, but no. Once again, this is big for domestic violence, and Johnny Depp's life was ruined by everything that happened here. You know, he lost all kinds of roles in movies, you know, people looked at him differently, and the evidence is showing that it was all because of nothing that he really did, but because of Amber Heard manipulating the situation, okay? And that's exactly what's happening in the clips that you're gonna watch here from this lawyer. He's trying to manipulate the situation. Now keep in mind, that is his job, right? If we're being honest, there's no lawyer on planet Earth that could defend Amber Heard right now. So he's just trying to like kind of dance around the subject, and he's gonna constantly just fill his voice and all of his talking with shit that doesn't matter. It's all a distraction. And at the end of it all, you're gonna see it basically get blown away, and it's awesome. So
they've had 3 weeks to put on their case, Your Honor. They've controlled the playing field of evidence. There is no dispute that Ms. Heard did not write that headline. No dispute. Simply saying, well, her name is attached to it, that can't overcome the testimony of the ACLU. They call them a co-conspirator. Of course, Mr. Depp chose not to sue them. But the testimony of Terrence Doherty that she didn't write that headline, that takes care of the sexual violence headline, Your Honor. And I'm not going to take up any more of the court's time addressing portions of Mr. Depp or Mr. Chu's argument that don't go to our motion.
The problem with everything this guy has been saying pretty much the whole time throughout this clip is that most of it can be easily defeated with just common sense, you know, with just basic logic, right? I think anyone can kind of see at this point what's going on. Amber Heard and her team are fucked, right? Like they are up shit's creek without a paddle. I mean, I cannot think of this going positively at all for them, right? I mean, all of the evidence that we've seen so far, even before this court case in specific, has indicated that Johnny Depp is the innocent one in this situation. Yet Amber Heard is the one who's getting to be in all of these shows and stuff. She's still in, like, I think Aquaman 2 for like 10 minutes or something like that. It should be 0. But Johnny Depp's acting career has been, I mean, where is it? You know, it's been destroyed, and it's mostly been a lot of it because of this fucking headline, because of this whole thing she came out with, this op-ed or whatever, where they want to argue that, oh, her name can't be attached to it because she didn't write the title. It's idiotic, and once again, it's just dancing around the issues. I mean, I feel like, are we ever really going to see any proof from this team? I don't know. You would think they'd want the trial to go on if they really wanted to prove in court that she was so innocent and whatnot. I get that, you know, just getting it dismissed is probably like the easy way out or whatever, but I don't know. If I'm such a big victim of domestic violence and whatnot, and I've been assaulted so terribly, I'm not moving to dismiss the case. I want to prove in court legally 100% that I'm a victim. If Johnny Depp was so terrible to me and he did all of this terrible shit and he was so abusive and he just did so much to me, ruined my life, you know, I would want to prove it in court. It wouldn't matter if taking the easy way out is the easiest way to win. That's personally my take on it, right? I just find that very convenient. I get that we're playing legal games and stuff now, but as a supposed victim, right, I would want it to be proven, but...
For this motion, I've taken the arguments of counsel, and last night I reviewed all of the evidence that has been submitted in this matter. So as to the second and third alleged defamatory statements, at the motion to strike at this juncture, I view the evidence in light most favorable to the plaintiff and reasonable inferences from the evidence to the plaintiff. And if there is a scintilla of evidence that a reasonable juror could weigh, then the matter survives a motion to strike. In this matter, there is evidence in the case that a jury could weigh that the statements were made by the defendant, that the statements were about the plaintiff, that the statement was published, that the statement is false, and the defendant made the statement knowing it to be false, or the defendant made it so recklessly as to amount to a willful disregard for the truth. The weight of that evidence is up to the fact finder, so the motion to strike is denied as to statement 2 and 3. The motion to strike as to statement 1, I'm going to take under advisement because if it's not a stipulation, I'm not sure what it is, but there seems to be an agreement that the tweet of Ms. Heard is part of the plaintiff's evidence, which is not in evidence at this point. So I can't rule on that statement whether or not it is just a tweet or if it's some sort of republication or something. I don't know because I haven't seen it yet. So as to the motion to strike on statement 1, I'm going to take under advisement because ruling on it now, it would be premature.
So I know this part can be a little bit confusing because it's like a lot of legal jargon, to be honest, so I kind of want to break it down. So basically what the judge is saying at this point is moving to dismiss this case would be very irresponsible because all of the evidence that's been submitted by Johnny Depp and his side of the case show that an argument can be made for defamation in this case, that a jury could actually weigh this evidence as potentially defamatory. It's not about whether or not for sure that it was defamatory, it's about whether or not a judge or a jury could weigh over whether or not that it is. You can't just throw a case out because you've decided, oh hey, we didn't make up any defamation, my client didn't do anything wrong. In the court, the judge and the jury are the ones who decide these kinds of things. And they decide it based on the evidence of what's been presented, and what's been presented has been very damning against Amber Heard and her team. Therefore, the case is going to stand and Johnny Depp is going to have his day in court. This isn't an easy fucking win for Amber Heard at this point, right? The Sun kind of, I feel like, got away with it on Johnny Depp, right? I feel like they kind of got away with the case. That one wasn't handled right, but this one so far has been handled perfectly. And the same would be the case if the roles were reversed. You know, if all of this proof had come out about Johnny Depp, I would be in the same boat here. But the truth of the matter is, the evidence submitted so far and the evidence that we've all seen so far has been overwhelmingly on Johnny Depp's side. I'm really glad that this case is going to continue and that there's going to be a chance for some true justice to be brought for from all of this, because it feels like for so long now, Johnny Depp and his image have been dragged through the mud, right? And this is a guy that's a hero to a lot of people. He has a very prominent career, you know what I mean? I feel like it's very unfair for somebody like that to have their fucking life literally ruined and destroyed, just completely tarnished, with no facts behind it. You know what I mean? I want this case to go forward. I want all of the evidence, honestly, from both sides to be brought forward. But I have a hunch that at this point, Johnny Depp, all of the evidence favors him. And that's why they want to dismiss this so quickly. They want it out of the courtroom because I feel like they're not going to provide any actual proof that backs their side of this story. So with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out OptiWorld. You can watch all my content for free there and do much more. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, covering the Johnny Depp trial and signing out.